Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a great day today. For this week's video, we're going to ask the question, can a random guy like me build a better guitar than Fender? Let's find out. So what we're going to do is take two Telecasters that I've put together and pit them up against two of Fender's bests. We're going to take two Fender American Standard Telecasters and put them up against my PARTSCASTERS. Hopefully this video will also help us answer the question, is it worth putting a PARTSCASTER together? So we'll talk a little bit about the pros and cons of building your own guitar as well. So let's take a look at the four guitars we're going to use in today's comparison. This is a 2017 American Professional Telecaster Deluxe. Just a really super cool looking instrument. It's just got that 70s kind of vintage vibe nailed. Really beautiful sounding instrument. Staggered tuning machines, bone nut, maple neck, rosewood fingerboard, low output, great sounding pickups, lots of chime on there. I did a comparison between this and Les Paul. I'll throw the card up above here if you want to check that one out. But yeah, other than that, boulder body, tummy cut, 2 volumes, 2 tones, just a great sounding instrument. So here's what we're going to pit up against the Telecaster Deluxe. This is one of my PARTSCASTERS. It's built on a classic vibe body. So I've always been a sucker for the double bound tellies. And this body, I don't know if you can see from this angle, but it's got some really beautiful grain on the front and back. It's equipped with a humbucker from Hell by DiMarzio. Now this is not a super high output pickup as the name suggests. It's actually their take on a single coil sound from a humbucking pickup. It doesn't sound quite like a single coil, but it'll be really interesting to see how this pits up against the Shawbucker in the Telecaster Deluxe, which is Fender's brand new pickups. They're nice and bright and chimey, so yeah, we'll see how the DiMarzio can handle that. And in the back, we've got the Chopper T, also by DiMarzio. Nice gold blades to match the rest of the aesthetics. Yeah, we've got a gold bridge, compensated brass saddles, pearloid top knobs to kind of match the aged pearloid pickguard. We've got a walnut neck from Ormuth, and I think it looks just great with the gold hardware. So kind of a unique neck and a really thick slab of flame maple on the fingerboard. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this stacks up against the Telecaster Deluxe. For the second part of our comparison, we're going to use this American Standard Telecaster. This one's from the year 2000. It's one of my favorite guitars in my entire collection. There's just something about this guitar that I love to play on. The neck profile is perfect, but yeah, alder body, just stock American Standard pickups. This one actually has the 4-way switch. I did a video on that as well earlier. I'll put the card above. But for this comparison, we're just going to be using the 3. Because of what we're comparing it against. But yeah, alder body, one-piece maple neck with the skunk stripe. The tuning machines are not staggered on this older version. Yeah, other than that, it's just a killer guitar to play on, one of my favorites. So here's the other PARTSCASTER we're going to throw into the mix. This was a really fun build to put together, and that's obviously one of the main advantages of a PARTSCASTER is they're just really fun to build. But anyway, something like this from Fender's custom shop would set you back $3,000, maybe $3,500, I don't know. But you could build something like this for substantially cheaper. Now this has a mahogany body, which is thin line. So very light. I love to take it out, and this is sort of my blues guitar. So it's got the Bigsby on the back. I've notched just a stock telly plate with a triangular file to make clearance for the strings. It's got brass saddles, non-compensated, but they do have machined grooves in them, and I think that's important for a Bigsby equipped guitar. It stops the strings from going side to side, but allows them to move front to back, which is what you want for tuning stability. We've got some Lindy Fralin split blade Telecaster pickups, really high-end pickups, which add to the cost of a build like this, but great sounding pickups. The rest of the electronics are from Made in Mexico Telly, just parts that I had lying around. Yeah, and no tummy cut or anything on the back of this one. I did add the furls on the back in case I want to bypass the Bigsby, just in case, I wasn't sure how stable it would be, but it's quite stable. So, but if I ever want to change, I can put the strings through the body, which is nice as well. Yeah, and this one is lightly relict, and the reason for that is it's kind of built around this road-worn Fender neck. So this is a true Fender neck. It's got a really thick profile to it, one of the most comfortable I've played on, but it is a little bit unique. It's got a 7 1/4 radius, so it's really round, like a vintage telly, but it's got jumbo frets. So it's an interesting combo of, yeah, like vintage radius with jumbo frets. but this is an awesome blues machine. It's a great guitar. So we'll throw it into the mix. I know it doesn't really compare apples to any other guitar, but that's, you know, the beauty of a PARTSCASTER. So we'll throw it in the mix and see how it sounds up against all the other guitars. All right, now that we've met our 4 guitars, we're going to do some playing comparisons for you guys, and after that we're going to talk about some of the pluses and minuses of building a PARTSCASTER. Now that we've taken a listen to these guitars, let's talk about some of the pluses and minuses to building a PARTSCASTER. Now, number one, let's talk about the sound. Now, sound is subjective, so I'm not really going to say which one I prefer the sound of, but I'm really curious to see what you guys think. You guys are sort of unbiased in this whole thing. You don't have a stake in Fender or PARTSCASTERs or anything, so let me know just which guitars you thought sounded the best. So drop a comment in the comment section below, and yeah, I'll be eagerly awaiting your guys' comments on which ones you think sounded the best. Number two is aesthetics. So one of the big advantages to building a PARTSCASTER is you can build a guitar that you think looks beautiful. So if there's nothing hanging on the wall of your local music store or on Fender's website or whatever brand you're into, that really gets you going, building a PARTSCASTER is one way to kind of achieve that goal. So that's one huge advantage, is just building a guitar that you're going to want to play because it looks so beautiful. Number three is the cost. Now, the two PARTSCASTERs that I built are not inexpensive. These cost me a lot of money to build, so it's not a huge money saver. Compared to the American Standard counterparts, yes, they were quite a bit cheaper, and when you start looking at custom shop, they're quite a bit cheaper. But in my experience, what you want to do is spend your money on the pickups. The pickups are like the engine of the guitar, the heart of the guitar, the soul of the guitar. It's going to dictate what your guitar sounds like. So if you have money to spend it on your pickups. But that being said, a nice set for two pickups, can be $200 to $400. That right there is a lot of money. So PARTSCASTERs are cheaper, but don't think you can, build an amazing sounding guitar for like $200. It's not going to happen, and you'll get partway through the project and you'll be like, oh, I did not budget properly for this. So make a parts list of what you want, add up the cost, and then decide whether it's something that you want to do. Number 4 is the fact that they're unique. This sort of ties in with the concept of aesthetics, but it's a little bit different as well. Some people, whether you're an artist or just a person that plays at home, certain people just want something that nobody else has. And that's where, again, PARTSCASTERS shine. Your build is not going to be the exact same as somebody else's build, and so you're going to end up with something that nobody else has. And there's something attractive to that. The 5th thing to consider when you're building a PARTSCASTER is the resale value. Now, if you're somebody who gets bored of things quickly or just moves from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, a PARTSCASTER might not be for you because you will lose a lot of money. The resale value on PARTSCASTERS is very poor. Because it's something that's unique to you, that you think looks good, and that you wanted to build, it's not going to be universally appealing. The same thing goes for modding your guitars. If you have a Squier and you put a really expensive set of pickups in, when you go to sell it, you're just going to get what a normal Squier would be. All the mods that you make, you're not going to recoup that money. That's just the way it works. So something to bear in mind when you're building a PARTSCASTER, if you're ever going to flip it, be prepared to lose a few bucks. Number 6 is it's a little bit safer to buy from the factory. So if you buy an instrument from your local music store, they might give you a year of free setups, or if anything goes wrong, you just take it back. You get the manufacturer warranty. All those things gives the consumer a little bit of peace of mind. Now, when you build a PARTSCASTER, you get none of that stuff. So it's a little bit different. You have to be prepared for that. And also, guitars coming from the factory, if it's a good quality control, all the instruments are going to sound very similar. If you buy the Tele Deluxe that I showed, all of them should sound and play quite similar, which is a little bit of peace of mind when you're just grabbing one from the wall or ordering direct or whatever you're going to do. When you build a PARTSCASTER, there's always a chance that it's going to turn out crappy, either because of poor parts that you'll have to reorder or rebuy, or it's dependent on your own skill. I hate soldering, I hate electronics, but I do it, and I've had to redo things like that in the past just to correct some of my own mistakes and that kind of thing. So there's no guarantee that your PARTSCASTER is going to turn out amazing. There's always the chance that you're going to have to redo things, and that again will cost you time and money. And finally, number 7, and most importantly, is these are really fun to build. Building a PARTSCASTER is a rewarding experience. I learned a lot doing these two instruments, and I love to play on them. So yeah, if you need a hobby, or you're just the kind of person that likes to tinker with stuff, consider building a PARTSCASTER, whether you order a full kit or you do what I did and just sort of scour the internet for certain parts and put them all together. Yeah, it's just a fun and rewarding part of playing guitar. So yeah, I would highly recommend it. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section below, again, which guitars you thought sounded the best or looked the best. And if you've built a PARTSCASTER yourself, let me know what you built, what parts you used, and how it turned out. I'd be interested to know. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you can do so by clicking here, and the rest of my information will be on the screen. We'll see you guys next week with a new video. Take care.